Hey y'all, today's pick a card reading is inspired by the song Trust Issues by Drake. It's from his Care Package album. It's a really good song. If you haven't heard it, I highly recommend. I assume you all know the deal if you are coming here for a pick a card reading. I love doing pick a card readings, and this is my first one that I'm doing online, and I have a good feeling about it. So, let's get started. Pick a crystal. This is pile 1. This is pile 2. This is pile 3. This is pile 4. I'll give you a minute to look at the crystals and meditate. And there's also these Tao Te Ching cards, or whatever they're called. And you can look at those symbols and also use those to decide, why do you have trust issues? I know I do. Let's explore. Do you hear my mom crinkling up trash? Hopefully not. Okay, meditate on the cards. Why do you have trust issues? Let's get to the bottom of this. I'm in Indiana right now, and they just banned smokable hemp. So this is legal. It's a CBD cart. I'll probably be vaping on that throughout the video. Anyways, that's one reason that I have trust issues. Indiana legislature. Okay. I think that's enough time. I'm gonna start with pile 1. Let's go. If you're new to my channel, seeing that this is my first pick a card video, please subscribe. I'll be making more in the future, and you definitely would not regret it, because I think I'm a very powerful reader. So, what was your childhood like, and how did it lead to you having trust issues? Well, we're getting, with the 7 of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune, it's possible that you experienced some economic issues growing up that have contributed to a sense of insecurity and not trusting that there's enough to go around, not really being able to be grateful for what you have. There could have been experiences in your life that you went through that were kind of karmic, that came up, and some of them could have been for a really long time as a kid. You went through like a lot over a long period of time, and just sort of something that you inherited, something that you were born into as a child, that you had to endure for many years, which could be the economic thing, has led to you having trust issues, being insecure, kind of on edge, like you would you would cut someone, you know, if they came at you the wrong way, you would just go after them. I'm getting that there could have been people in your life that were very wish-washy and maybe sort of bipolar in a way. Could be on purpose to mess with you, kind of keep you on your toes, not really giving you a sense of stability. So the next question is, what are you going through now? I think that you could be going through a psychic awakening. I think it's funny because often when I do readings for other people, I feel like the readings are for me too. So if what I'm saying feels personal, take it to heart because we're connecting, and this is what I'm going through too. So I feel like you could be going through a psychic awakening and you just are kind of exposed as you enter a space of intuition and heightened sensitivity. You could be feeling overexposed and kind of a little embarrassed. People could be questioning what you know, and it's sort of like sometimes when you are communicating with others, it's just like there's a disconnect. But as you can see, this card is from the Voodoo Tarot of New Orleans, and it's Marie Laveau, and she's the High Priestess in this deck. So this is upright, so your intuition is probably coming through on point, and that these abilities are natural and kind of flowing organically, but it's just the way that the energy is being received. Like you can see fire in both of these cards of spirit. There's just sort of like a transference that's not really going in a way that jives with your natural flow of how you listen to things. And that could be confusing for you if you're not able to be comfortable in your own skin in that way with your intuition, and there's sort of a disconnect with energetically with the people around you. So the next pile is who's involved. We have the Nine of Wands again. The Lovers and the King of Cups reversed. So maybe if you're feeling overexposed, maybe you are you're sort of impassioned by what you're experiencing, you know, even though you feel kind of oversensitive about it. You're passionate about it, and it is a choice at the end of the day for you to be going down this path of initiating yourself into these mysteries. So maybe the passion that you have is attracting other people to you. But if you feel overexposed and not comfortable in your own skin, maybe you're just not in a good place right now to be receiving that love, because it's just, you know, I think the Nine of Wands is probably one of the best cards for having trust issues. And that's come up twice in this pile. So I would really say that trust issues in relationships with other people are coming through very strong. Especially with the King of Cups reversed. You know, the King of Cups is a man who's very in touch with his compassion and his heart and the realm of emotions and mysticism. So there again, we have a connection back to the mysticism, that there is an element of that going on. So maybe if they're not romantic people in your life, they're just also your loved ones. And what's the current result? Oh, we have another Seven of Pentacles. And we have that with the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So maybe you kind of feel like you're on fire in a weird way, and the result of being overexposed is you're kind of pushing through some things that always felt like they were just never changing. Some of the things that you experienced as a kid that led up to your trust issues are finally beginning to shift. Even though you feel like that fire is kind of like making you uncomfortable in your own skin sometimes, it's like you're on fire now and you're pushing through this shit. And something might actually come from this. That's good. I think that I'm encouraged by the double seven and this connection with now to the past. I think that the Seven of Wands is like a perfect match for this card of like slow movement. The Seven of Wands is sort of like an onslaught, like a military conquest. I feel like those two energies together are probably somehow balancing each other out. So it's like you're moving forward through some really old swampy stuff. And the next pile is how can you build trust? And I'm gonna check if it's recording. Yeah. How can you build trust? And we have the Knight of Wands, the Five of Cups, and Temperance. So I think that some of the energy that you receive is just, it's that fiery energy that came through, but it is also the water and the mysticism. So it literally is like in this card, Shilibo Nuvavu, fire and water, creating steam that could be building up and overflowing. I think that you could take the energy that you are receiving and move with it in a different way, that's more balanced. And I'm not saying that you're not trying, you probably are, but maybe as an omen for the future, you know, you're gonna get better at receiving your intuition and feeling more comfortable in your own skin, kind of remembering who you are and being able to receive and conquer a goal more so than just being stuck in a cycle, kind of more a forward movement rather than a laundry machine. And I feel like you're definitely going through some of that swampy stuff I was talking about, but you already see that light at the end of the tunnel, and you already do have happiness. You can feel the rainbow over your head, and even though you're moving through some dark times, I think you still do find happiness, and maybe that joy is what will help you build trust again, is trusting in that rainbow that's always there. You know, what helped you through those long periods as a kid where you were going through stuff that just kind of seemed relentless in terms of not trusting other people, that always made you happy, impassioned, and have that rainbow in your life. And if you can remember that, I think that you can trust in that for sure. And we have some general advice. Oh, this is perfect. So here's the symbol. Let's meditate on this. Perfect, just like a cat. So we have a broken circle. So maybe that's indicative of that cyclical type of stuff that's being finally broken through. Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands thing I was touching on. And then based off the square, I think the square is the trust that you can build, and I think it's kind of the rainbow I was talking about. So we have 46, to feel content. So with the numerology 46, we have them becoming one. We also have the heart chakra. We have the third eye chakra. We have the 4 being like a sense of stability with the square. And then the 6 being like, can be Saturn and heavy material, but also that psychic intuition I was talking about that you might be experiencing. To feel content. When there is Tao under heaven, fleet-footed horses are working in the fields. When there is no Tao under heaven, war horses appear outside the city. There is no greater crime than having wrong desires. There is no greater hardship than being discontent. There is no greater misfortune than obtaining one's own triumph. That is why he who feels content is always content. So a little thing to wax on, you could probably look up this Tao 46. I think it's, reflecting the rainbow and saying that what's the point of life if things are going to go perfectly, the way we want them to go, you know? Maybe what happened to you as a kid, that lower part of your life was able to really highlight and expose what brought you joy in a really pronounced way. And maybe the trust issues that you're experiencing right now can also do that, you know. And maybe that's the push through of realizing that your problems are never going to go away, but the joy that you find and have always found, because I believe that our problems are pretty much the same, like throughout our whole life, are kind of like generally the same, you know. they always change. Everything's always changed, but it will always, the general theme of what plagues you and why you have trust issues will also always be the answer to how you can build trust. You know, what's the remedy? We have 19 Shakana from the Earth Warriors Oracle. Time to cross a threshold. And we have Kuntur Yachak, blessings from the son of Hana Pacha. I think that 19 is definitely perfect. It's a number of judgment, so, oh no it's not, it's the number of the sun. So we have two sun elements going on here. So I think that does tie into judgment though as well. Just the sun in general. There's so many birds in these cards. This one I'm really getting a fire element and being activated. This one is more, less, I'm really getting like a third eye thing here and a connection to divine will. So I think that you can really lean into spirit and maybe some of the things that have led to you having trust issues throughout your life have always been an opportunity for your intuition to guide you in the right direction. So, as a general advice, don't be afraid of your abilities, embrace them, lean into them, because they're guiding you now and they'll always guide you. Don't let other people not understanding you take that away from you. And maybe it's impossible for it to leave you if they're so strong, like the sun is. And the sun is only getting stronger, so. That is it for pile 1. I'm going to leave these here for just a second longer before I take them all apart and we'll move on to pile 2. We're gonna look at this crystal, you know, purple rain, this amethyst. I hope that you follow your joy and you can push through these swampy things. Having a little honey break. Okay. So that's that. I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe. And of course, if you have if you really like the reading, support me and donate to my PayPal account. I would greatly appreciate it. I am a recent college grad. And it's COVID, y'all. So, pile 1. Hope you liked it. Okay, moving on to pile 2. Why do you have trust issues? Here's your crystal. I got this from a voodoo shop in Bloomington, Indiana. It's a little broken from where I dropped it. Is this where you got your trust issue when somebody dropped you. And I think it's called Atlantisite. It's supposed to be really powerful. I don't use it very often. Here is your card view. So initially, we'll go back to that later. Okay. So, what was your childhood like, and how did it breed trust issues in you? Okay. I'm getting a sense of being betrayed here. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Seven of Wands. And we have Strength. So I'm kind of getting a feeling here of, you know, you and this Strength card, and maybe like your imaginary friends, your spirit guides, maybe your pets, and just not people versus other people. Kind of, you know, people just backstabbing you and others sitting in the background not really saying much, and you kind of learning to hold your own. People being manipulative, kind of just trying to control you. I'm really getting a sense of backstabbing and betrayal, and maybe that these events happened not over a long period of time, like in pile one, but more just like some like key events in your life where people really like went for you, went after you, and you maybe have like a sense of like this darkness behind you that has made you strong in that way. Like people have stabbed you in the back, but you did hold your own because maybe no one did stand up for you, and you learned to stand up for yourself. I hope that resonates. What are you going through now? So there's an element of medicine coming up. We have Gran Ibo. We have Ugan Balindio. Apologize for that. We have Simbi. If there's an element of healing going on, maybe you're seeking out healing, but people just don't know how to help you in the age that we're in. Maybe you're balancing more modern forms of treatment for whatever healing that you are seeking with more ancient forms of Gran Ibo would be like root and swamp bush medicine, plant medicine. Maybe you're balancing between the two, and you kind of feel like they aren't connecting. There's sort of a disconnect in that way. There could be, you know, how I was talking about, it's like almost like you versus everyone else, and you listening to spirit and nature versus the opinions of other people. So I'm getting that probably you are more into the herbs and the plants, and other people are giving you the other form of medicine that you don't really want. Maybe you do, but it's just sort of a disconnect. And And if it doesn't have to do with medicine, then maybe it's just in general, like listening to yourself versus listening to other people. And maybe there's an element of how trusting yourself connects the two, listening to others versus listening to yourself. And let's see who is involved. We have the Fool. We have the Nine of Cups. And we have the Five of Swords. Interesting. Maybe whoever is involved is like somebody you always dreamed of coming into your life. Somebody that you are really happy is in your life. Maybe there's somebody who is really funny, kind of silly, like likes to joke around a lot, doesn't take things too seriously. Maybe you kind of feel like a fool because you always wished for them to be in your life, and now that they're there, it's sort of like you don't know what to do, and maybe because of how you were backstabbed in the past, you just don't really know how to receive this person that you always wished for. And in that way, you just kind of feel like a fool. You're like, why can't I accept their love? You always wanted it, but you just can't let go. You can't surrender. You still are holding on to your sword. You're not gonna drop your spear, right? And maybe that seems kind of goofy to you, like silly that you can't, but we're gonna get there. So what's the current result? Okay. So I'm getting the current result is that you are moving forward in a significant way with a major something in your life, something really concrete, like a job, where you live, something with money, something like you can hold and have. Is it your body? Something physical. You are making a huge change in that way, and maybe it is this person, and you're having to move forward quickly emotionally. You're having to progress quickly emotionally, but there's just like this feeling of manipulation going on. Like, you know, maybe there's not consent. Maybe all you really want is consent and like somebody to consult you about what's going on. And no one's doing that. They're just kind of giving you your medicine. You know what I mean? Like maybe if it's some of the things are like things you wanted, as you wished for them. There's just a feeling of being manipulated because no one is consulting you. So that's quick. And how can you build trust? We have the Princess of Cups. Oh shit, you've got a lot of cards. Judgment, the Empress. We have the Nine of Pentacles. And we have the Ace of Swords. I feel like you can trust your judgment more when it comes to love and building things. It's interesting, we have another woman with a bird, and we have the Black Panther goes with the swords. I feel like you can really listen to your intuition more. You can listen to that inner self. You can listen to your heart and what love is there. With these two cards, you can listen to that young inner girl, that young inner child in you that is really nurturing and caring and loving, in love with the world. Maybe that's connected to your thought process and how you form judgments. So if other people aren't consulting you, don't let that be a barrier to you always consulting yourself first. Build trust in that. You know, if you can't trust other people right now because of the way you've been hurt in the past, then learn to listen to yourself first and really get to know why you are feeling distrustful. Like, maybe that has to do with some inner child work, and maybe it does relate to other people when forgiving, not like condoning what they did, but letting go, of course, like you probably know, of the backstabbing, kind of opening your heart up more to innocent love again and true love again. But maybe you won't be able to accept true love until you are able to listen to yourself first and then other people second, and connect the two. Maybe you're trying in a way that works for you. So for the Tao, we have this card, and I feel like it goes really well with like what we're talking about, with the two opinions and connecting them both. And we have life and death, 50. Life and death, 50. Emotions and longings are life. Passions and desires are death. There are 13 kinds of life. 7 are emotions, and they refer to the gates of the mind. 6 are longings, and they refer to the gates of the body. There are also 13 kinds of death. 7 are passions, and they refer to the gates of the mind. 6 are desires, and they refer to the gates of the body. These 13 kinds of life and death rule also human beings because one treasures life. He who is good at conserving his life will not meet the rhinoceros and the tiger on his journey. He can enter a battle without being hurt. The rhinoceros cannot attack him with his horn. The tiger cannot scratch him with his claws. Troops cannot use their swords against him. That is only because he has no place for death to enter. So I'm getting that whatever happened to you in the past where people were backstabbing you, you're carrying those wounds around, and they're attracting more hurt into your life. Even when it's like, Jesus, like, how can this be happening? Like, I wished for this person. How can this be happening? Well, it's because you need to heal. You need to close up the backstab wound. Put some herbs on it and take their pill. But you can't keep carrying that around. You have to conserve your life, and life is love. So love yourself. It'll all work out. We have the Guardian of Umakua and Sage of Higher Knowledge. So we have 3 owls coming through. We have 24 and 12. So that's interesting. We have the 12, which is times 2, 24. Maybe that relates to how other people are a reflection of you. So listen to yourself first, but honor other people's wisdom, your guardians. So honor your sageness, your wisdom, your experience. Honor that first, and then recognize that other people also have wisdom that you need to honor second. After that. And maybe that is that 1-2 step. Let me sing to that 1-2 step. That is the secret to trusting better and connecting, listening to yourself with listening to people who actually care about you and are guardians for you. You know, people who want to help conserve your life. Cool. I'm gonna take a little break and let you look at the cards for a minute. This is your stone. So we have the blue throat chakra, which now I would say relates to that element of listening and truth. We have this little marking on the stone, which I feel like connects to the backstabbing element we were talking about. How long? Trust issues. How long? Trust issues. How long? Trust issues. How long? Trust issues. It resonated. Please subscribe to my channel, Lil Baby Boy Tarot. It's just Baby Boy Tarot. Please subscribe, and if you really enjoyed and you want to see more videos, tip me and encourage me with money, because what better reward is there in America? In our America. Okay, we have pile 3. We have your beautiful labradorite, stone of magic. So flashy, looks like the northern lights. Beautiful. And we have this card that you meditated on, we'll get back to later. Tao Chang. Why do you have trust issues? Why? Well, what was your childhood like? I'm seeing that you had a lot as a child. You had maybe a lot of money. Maybe you just came from a really solid place. But it's almost like you've never really truly felt supported in like a loving way. Maybe you came to rely too much on the physical parts of your life that were always predictable, that other things weren't predictable in like the realms of like love and just like familial support. Maybe you just have kind of become really cold and jaded, like you have a wounded inner child that's really literally jaded, like in the sense of jade being like a prosperity stone, of like you had a prosperous beginning, but there's just like a sense of anguish and disappointment. Like maybe even though you've always had enough, there's like a little crack in this wall that you always, that cold draft, that cold wind always blew through the wall of your mansion, and you just, it never was enough for you, so maybe you're just an asshole. You're just kind of disappointed, you know, you're just uptight and a little like, yeah, you had enough, you were supported physically, but maybe you just, those things could never satisfy something more essential, something that you can't hold onto. And now you're kind of riding through life with that. I don't mean to be so frank, but call me Frankie. And what are you going through now? Okay, so we have 2 cards. With these elements of receiving spirit. Maybe that was an element that was lacking in your life. Like you had the earth element, and now you have a, maybe because you came from a prosperous background, you're well educated, but maybe spirit is trying to come to you and you just aren't able to trust. Maybe there are events right now in your life where it's just like things aren't matching up with how you would expect them to logically go, because you're not in tune with your heart and your spiritual side, where you're just sort of like taken off out of the blue. It's like out of the blue, things will just happen that you're like, what the heck? Where did that happen? And it's like, maybe if you improved your intuition a little bit and your connection to nature with the Grand Bois, these things wouldn't seem so out of the blue, and you could balance your strong intellect more with some of the things that were lacking actually in your prosperous upbringing. So maybe that was, you didn't really have a strong relationship with nature growing up, and that didn't really feed you. So maybe that's something you could change. Maybe you could tap into your spirit guides more, and maybe that has to do with natural events. I want to say that overall right now, I believe that we're going through a very large awakening on an energetic level, and perhaps you aren't able to trust and cope and go with the flow with these shifts that are happening because you don't have completely this side of yourself developed in a way that would be beneficial for that. Okay. That's all I have for what you're going through now. Who is involved? We have death. I don't know, is it death? It's judgment. Judgment. Strength. And the Knight of Cups. So maybe love is coming into your life. You're being tested to be strong right now, and it's like some of the weak spots in you in terms of being an emotional being, they're really getting to you right now. And it's almost like you can't trust yourself to deal with what's going on because you just don't have the tools to cope with, maybe it's like a new relationship, maybe it's just relationships in general that are like, where you feel judged, like you're being tried. People are really trying you, and to be strong, maybe you're approaching it in the wrong way, like you're always ready to say like the next thing and kind of defend yourself, and you're not able to just sort of handle things with compassion and understanding, from a more heart level. With other people, maybe other people don't trust you. Does that resonate? Maybe other people don't trust you. And what's the current results? We have Wild Card, Four of Cups, and the King of Swords. I feel like the result is that there's this wild energy in you that you are bottling up because you just don't know, it's too much for you, and this natural energy within you, you're just pushing aside, and I think that is really hindering your sense of trust that you could build more. I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but I think that you're kind of missing out on these opportunities where you're feeling tried. Let these opportunities that are new to you, where you're feeling tried and there's this shift in energy, let them open you up to a new side of yourself that's wild and true and raw and rough around the edges like the stone. Maybe that will make your life a little more magical. So, how can you build trust? I think your cards slipped into the other pile, so we just have one. We have the King of Wands, which is actually perfect because the King of Wands is a man who's mastered the element of spirit. So we have the Lions with the Strength card, and we also have this fat cat right here, and this Ace of Pentacles, which kind of made me think of you growing up rich or wealthy, well off. To build more trust, you you gotta move past just living in the physical world, and you have to find, you don't have to, you could find more spirit in everything. And maybe it's right there under your nose. You know, maybe you felt like you lived like a shallow life your whole life, but maybe if you start looking for it, you can start seeing where spirit lives already in your life. And maybe, I think magic is all about connection and how things just magically connect and relate and somehow work together. Somehow unrelated things or things that are loosely related work together in a really cool way. So maybe if you start looking for those spider-like connections, you can open up to this more wild part of yourself that will help you trust life more. Maybe feeling that life is alive. You know, life is alive. And it talks to you, and you're moving with it, you're dancing with life. Maybe you can be a better dance partner. You feel? General advice. So, I feel like I'm getting with this that you have this strong foundation and you have these walls built around you and you're this little dot. And maybe you can come out of this shell more to experience the universe. We have to embrace the mother. Perfect. To embrace the mother, which is the universe. The world had a beginning. This beginning is the mother of the world. Once you know the mother, you know the children. When you know the children, you will return to embrace the mother. Then you will live lifelong without danger. Close the mouth and the spirit will not escape. Seal the ears and the mind will not escape. You will live lifelong without struggle. Open the mouth and take action for every matter, and you will live lifelong beyond hope. To see the small is called clarity. To know how to yield is called strength. Use virtue outside the mind, but return to virtue in the mind, and you will live lifelong without danger. This is what is called practicing constancy. So, I feel like there are, of course, elements in your life where your upbringing, where you have a really strong intellect, you're able to say the right thing at the right time, you're able to stand up for yourself and be your own advocate in a logical way that works for you. But if you've learned this other part of life that has less to do with your mind and more with spirit, your life will be more full and you'll be able to trust yourself more because there'll be more a sense of wholeness in your life, of like things fitting together. And maybe that has to do with your mother. Maybe you understanding why you didn't receive these feminine aspects of life that have to do with intuition and maybe more emotional things that can help us trust more. Maybe looking at your mom will provide some answers to how you could do that yourself. So we have that, number 52. And we have White Buffalo Woman, hopeful heart, see her sign. See her sign. And we have honor the light that goes along with the King of Wands. So I really feel like you're truly being called to open up to the spiritual side of yourself. And maybe whatever that is for you, is it just God? Is it the sun? What is it? Is it Jesus? Is it Mary? Is it animals? Is it nature itself? What is it? How can you look for more signs? How can you look to the world around you, and through realizing it's alive, how can you be supported in ways that sometimes don't make sense to your mind, but they make sense to your eye? You know, they make sense to your third eye. And light is information. Everything is information. So be open to reading between the lines sometimes more, and realizing that everything is always open to interpretation and reading between the lines, the lights. So, on that note, please become a more magical person for all of us. I'm going to take a little break. Trust your magic. Even if you feel like just an average Joe, trust that you are magical just like all of us. Please subscribe to my channel, Baby Boy Tarot. I want to buy more honey, so donate to my PayPal account. I need to keep my immune system up during this crisis. I would really appreciate it. I hope you don't mind me smacking on this honey. Love you, Mama. Mama. Pile 4. Here you are with this granite stone. It's actually a family heirloom from me. Get some light. I realized how dark it is. Taking away the pretty labradorite, you have the boring granite. But hey, granite is also has its little speckles of rubiness in there. It's got this cool line. I feel like the line goes with this line. It's like a traceable black line around the stone. also have the element of like this side being flat, and this being flat, and this being round, and that being round, kind of, but not. It's cool how things just work out like that. So, why do you have trust issues, pile number 4? Why do you have trust issues, pile number 4? What happened to you as a child that led to you having trust issues? Okay, I want to say that you're pretty optimistic as a person. Like you have like a golden aura around you. You're generally like a happy person. But maybe there have been some events in your life where there are just major changes. It could have been like literally physical deaths in your life where you just don't trust the process of life. Sometimes you aren't able to kind of roll with the tides of life. You know, maybe that golden happiness in you is very constant, but you're not able to kind of cyclically accept all parts of yourself as a person and kind of roll with the changes, roll with the punches. Like, you're just really good at being that happy-go-lucky person, and then when it's time to grieve and move on and change, you're just kind of, you suck at it. Maybe. Is that true? I'm sorry if people died in your life that really fucked you up. That's sad. What are you going through now? What? I think that there is a love coming into your life. Like, it could be some psychic abilities. It could be like a connection to the mystical, which is likely if you're here for a pick a card reading. Am I right? So, that's cool. But, I think that maybe there's like a physical person coming into your life, like a romance, and you're afraid. Like you feel passion for them, you feel like lust and love, and like they're setting your world on fire, but like you don't know how to handle and trust your emotions and deal with like what comes with that. So maybe I think it's more a person, like a romantic thing, but it could also just be like in general dealing with the other side, like people on the other side. Maybe it is loved ones that have passed on, but just that connection to the other side, like death. Who's involved? We have the Emperor. So if you're a woman, maybe it is a man in your life. We have the World card. And the Tower. Interesting. My honey fell over like a tower. So I think that this is like a romantic reading, which is kind of refreshing. I'm gonna have some honey now. That's pretty refreshing. I'm kind of tired at pile number 4, so this is cool. I'm glad. Who's your honey? maybe there are many. Maybe there's more than one honey. Or maybe you're just like in your little bubble of safety and like happy-go-luckiness and like your goldenness. But like you're really falling for this person and you're afraid that they're gonna see parts of you that you don't even let yourself see. And maybe this person you've attracted into your life is like picking up on that. And they're like, I want to know the full you. I want to know you and like get to know you, but you just can't even do it for them. You don't even trust that part of yourself enough to like be real enough for them. And they're like, why aren't you being real for me? Why can't you show me everything? And you're like, I'm just, doing what works for me, what's always worked for me, and like what's wrong with that? It's like a good thing. And they're like, yeah, it is a good thing. Because that's why I like you. But it's okay for you to trust me and fall for me and show that side of yourself to me. But hey, you do have to be comfortable enough showing that side to yourself, because what's going to happen if they leave, So my advice, I'm jumping ahead of myself, I already have advice, but trust yourself and get to know that side of yourself first that's kind of ugly and dark before you even reveal that to somebody else. And if this person, this masculine energy is the right person for you, then they'll be okay with waiting for you to show and expose that side of yourself and to really fall for them. You feel? So, what is the current result? I think that kind of moving forward with this line of thought, it's like your hands are tied, like you're falling for this person, you love them, and things are slowly moving forward, but in a really joyful way. Like you're really happy with this person, and you're really happy in general as a person. I was picking up on, you're just kind of like, you have a golden heart. So maybe it's a good thing. Like these lessons with the 8 that you have, you've inherited them and they're karmic, and this ugly part of yourself, maybe you're just gonna have to slowly move forward with that. And the joyful part of you is the key to balancing out and being able to deal with these really heavy things that traumatized you and like have led you to not trusting yourself or other people. So, how can you build trust? We have another 3 of Cups, 10 of Cups, and the 2 of Cups. Yay! So, you might even be like, some of you may have the opportunity to settle down and be a family with this person. Maybe you've lost some of your family members, and this person is like coming in as like, you love them so much, they're a family member to you. So really open up to trusting and celebrating with them. And I think there's really room for you to, through relationship, kind of delve deep into some dark stuff that you wouldn't be able to alone. Maybe it is okay. Like, always remember who you are first. But through connecting with this other person, like sex really does connect to death. Sometimes an orgasm is called a little death. Through becoming vulnerable with this person and sharing your joy with them, that part of you that you're comfortable with, you can delve deeper into some darker things that you've been not trusting and have been breeding distrust in you. You can literally breed that out. It's time to breed out the distrust in you, okay? You gotta F that shit out. Full force. Full force. Okay? Okay? Full force. And moving on to general advice. We have, remember that? Swirl chocolate and vanilla swirl, okay? It's okay to be happy, but it's okay to go down too. Flush the toilet. Okay, we have 53. The Great Tao. Should I know just a fraction of Tao, I would walk on the great way, fearing to oppose upon people. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. Should I know just a fraction of the Tao? Should I know just a fraction? No, not just a fraction. You have to know everything. You don't have to. Please, for all of us, know everything. Should I know just a fraction of the Tao, I would walk on the great way, fearing to impose upon people. The main road is smooth to walk, but the people prefer the smaller footpath. That is why the court is corrupt. The fields lie in waste. The granaries are empty. Yet the rulers wear clothes adorned with finery, carry sharp swords decorated with patterns, possess storehouses overflowing with goods and wealth. This is to rule by stealing. This is not the Tao. So maybe what's coming through is that people take advantage of you because you have not delved deeper into some of the harder aspects of life. Some of the horrible things that have happened to you, you just closed off to them, and for that reason you haven't learned from them. And people will literally steal your life, your golden heart. People will steal that, and you're not doing anything about it because you don't trust yourself enough to say no and set boundaries. So you can change that. Start, lean into this relationship and explore these darker parts of yourself with full force. And all of us will benefit from you walking in the middle of the path and taking up your space. And don't fear imposing upon people for being all of who you are. Don't fear imposing upon people for being everything that you are. We have Alakoa from the Earth Warriors Oracle and Abuela Medicine, Remedy of the Grandmothers. So we have Spirit of the Warrior and Remedy of the Grandmothers. So I really feel like there's a deep sorrow that you can feel through. Maybe connecting with your ancestors, maybe there's some plant medicine that you can delve into, maybe like mushrooms or even just cannabis or acid, something like that. You could do peyote to really help you process some of the trauma that you've gone through. Maybe you'll come out on the other side more in touch with that dark side, and that will make you more fierce in the world. Like, people won't take advantage of you as much, and maybe you won't fear falling in love because you're like, I'm a hard ass, man. Like, I can fall in love. I know what my family's been through. Like, how did I get here? My family members had to fall in love for me to get here. I can learn from them. I can tap into my wisdom, my ancestors' wisdom, and I'm strong just like they are. I can make it through. I can grieve their deaths. Maybe your grandmother is even somebody that was close to you that passed away. Maybe you need to grieve that, and maybe through finally grieving and letting yourself grieve, you'll come out on the other side as a warrior, and you'll be able to face life as a full person with the sword of your mind, ready to strike against people who would take advantage of you otherwise, for being such a golden-hearted person. That's all I have, and I really hope that if you are in a relationship that's romantic, it seems like it's gonna go really well, and I bless you, and I feel like I got excited and kind of made my day. Put these back for a second. Yes, I'll let you look at those for a minute, but that's it. That's all she wrote. Please subscribe to my channel. This is my first pick a card video. I hope it resonated. Pile number 4. Subscribe. And if you really want to encourage me to make more videos, please give me money and go to my PayPal account. Link below in the bio. So, there we go. Look in the mirror. Cool. There's always smoke and mirrors with Baby Boy Tarot, that's for sure. Bye.